All right. Great morning, superstars. This is your girl, Taria Hodge, with another fantastic episode of Social Media Saturdays. How is everyone doing out there this morning? I am super excited to have this episode of Social Media Saturdays. And if you guys see me looking around, I have some new toys that I am playing with this morning. And so, one of the things I'll just say this here really quick before we get started, because I'm really excited about it. I just found this app that would allow me to turn my cell phone into a webcam, right? So, I had a conversation with none other than market domination strategist Lethea Owens, and she shared this pretty cool app that's called Camo that you can turn your iPhone into a webcam. So I'm testing it out for the very first time, today. So if you kind of see me looking around, that's exactly what it is I'm doing. I'm just, having some fun with some technology this morning. Okay. So if you are out there and you are watching, you could see me, you could hear me, just do me a favor, drop a comment into the comment section and let me know, Taria, I could see you. Taria, I could hear you. And then we are going to get this party bus started today. Okay. All right. So I think I saw someone out there this morning, but I'm not too sure who it is. So do me a favor, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know if everything is okay with the feed. You could see me, you could hear me. And then we're going to rock and roll. And I see that Anila is out there this morning. Great morning, Anila. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining this amazing episode of Social Media Saturdays. And I'm super excited. Great. Thank you so much, Anila. I see your comment that you could see and you could hear me. And I'm super excited to have this conversation today. And what we're going to talk about today is how to gain clarity around your products and services. Okay. So how many of you are out there this morning and you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach or consultant, and you know what, you kind of struggle around like exactly, what products and services should I be creating for the marketplace? So we are going to talk a little bit about that today. And I see that Sharette is out there this morning. Great morning, Sharette. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining us. And I see that Forrest is out there this morning. Great morning, Forrest. Thank you so much for joining. And then I see that Yetta, all the way from Canada, is out there this morning. Great morning, Yetta, sending lots and lots of love to you, my dear. Okay. So as you come into the broadcast, do me a favor, in the comment section, just drop a line, let us know who you serve in your business, how you serve in your business, and how we can connect with you. Okay. So we do this every episode, and it's one of the things that I absolutely love about Social Media Saturdays, is because I have the opportunity, to see all of my superstars do virtual networking. Okay. So drop a line, let us know where you're watching from, who you serve in your business, how you serve in your business, and how we can connect with you. Okay. And so, like I said, today we're going to have a conversation around how to gain clarity around your products and services. So, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions just to make sure, that I have the right people in the space with me this morning. So how many of you are out there, you're on this entrepreneurial journey and you've heard this thing about turning your passion into a profitable business, right? I think we have all heard that, how to turn your passion into a business. But you are, you're struggling a little bit in that area. So there are things that you absolutely love to do. There are things that you're passionate about, but you may not know yet the secret sauce in turning it into a business, and then yet alone a profitable business. So if that's you out there, do me a favor, drop a 1 into the comment section and just let me know, right? Like, I'm struggling to turn my passion into a business. Okay. And then also, if you are out there, and this is the famous one, right? You feel like you're doing too much. And so you're struggling to find that harmonious balance between life and your business. And so if that's you, I want you to go ahead and drop a 2 into the comment section. Okay. So you're on the journey and you notice that, things are, kind of out of whack. Okay. And so you're struggling to find that balance between work and life, or that harmony, like I like to say, harmony between work life. Okay. All right. So this is for you. If you are the coach or the consultant and you know that you are called to be more, and you know you are called to do more, but you get frustrated on the journey because it's not what you envision, right? And so let me just say, I have been there before. I stepped out onto this entrepreneurial journey, and in my mind, right, I had all of these ideas of what entrepreneurship was all about. And then as I continued onto the journey, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is not what I had in mind. Okay. So this talk is for you today. And then also, if you're in the dark, this is for you. If you're in the dark on how to turn your knowledge and your skills into a viable business and get paid. Okay. So I've had the opportunity to have quite a few conversations this week around the topic, right? And people are telling me, you know what? I'm passionate about this. I love doing this, but how do I turn it around and really get paid from it and make it into a viable business that I could sustain myself, I could sustain my family. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today, right? And then, like I said before, this is for you out there if you absolutely feel like you are doing too much. And so one of the things that I'm just going to share, and we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through the broadcast, one of the things that I had to really get present to in my business, even though I know how to do a lot of things, it doesn't mean I should be doing a lot of things. Okay. And how does that show up in your business? And we're going to talk about that because I think it's one of the biggest challenges, especially for new entrepreneurs. Okay. And so I see that Forrest is saying that he is watching from New Orleans. Thank you so much, Forrest, for jumping on and joining us today. And so before I really jump into the meat and potatoes, if you're out there and you have a particular challenge around your products and services, go ahead and do me a favor. Let me know what's the biggest thing that you struggle with when it comes to creating products and services in your business. Okay. So if you have a challenge other than what I have just laid out, those three things that I laid out, I'd love to hear from you. And so I actually put this question as a poll into our community, and then actually several communities actually. And it was very interesting to kind of see the feedback coming back. And so that's why I'm asking if you have any other challenges that I didn't name, just go ahead and put your challenge inside of the comments, so I make sure to be able to address that. But I think I've had the opportunity to see two responses, I think. And the person is saying the same thing, right? That they're kind of torn between, doing all of the things that they love. So there are multiple things that they're passionate about, and trying to decide, which direction to go. How do you turn all of the passions that you have, into a viable and sustainable business? Okay. And so, yes, like I said, that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. And so, a couple of things as we go through this, I'm going to share with you the biggest challenge I think new coaches and consultants, the biggest mistake new coaches and consultants made. And so before I share what that mistake is, I'm going to share a little bit about my story. Okay. And so I know many of you have probably heard, like I did when I stepped on into this journey of entrepreneurship, one of the things that you have to do, one of the easiest way, right, for you to generate revenue in your business is to trade time for dollars, right? So how many of you have done that? Trade your time for dollars. And what it looks like, it's a service-based business. So you started out with a service-based business. So I started off providing services. And so there were things that I knew how to do. Okay. And I found that in in order for me to generate revenue, one of the easiest ways and the quickest ways to do that is to go ahead and do those things for other entrepreneurs, right? And so it kind of looked like me setting up their social media, setting up webinars, doing email marketing, loading emails, and all of these things that I learned how to do on the journey. Okay. And I went ahead and I set my price, right? Because they tell you that you have to do the little calculation, right? So you take a look at how much money you need to make every month. And then you say, well, okay, what's the package of service that you're going to offer? And then you decide on all of these things that you can do. And then you said, I'm going to put a monthly price on it. And then when I engage with clients, this is what I will offer. Now, let me tell you something, okay? That got old very quickly. Okay. And here's the reason why. One of the things that I did not get present to is that, you know what? I was the only person doing all the work. Okay. So how many of you could identify with that? Okay. That you have a service-based business, and when you look at it, you're new onto the journey of entrepreneurship and you haven't started building your team as yet. And so what it shows up as is it shows up as you're the one doing all of the work. So if that's you, you could identify. Just go ahead and let me know, yes, Taria, I'm there, or yes, I have been there. And I see that Virginia is out there this morning. Great morning, Virginia. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining. And then Patricia says, yes, I have traded time for money and money for time before too. And I think, and good morning, Ramonda, how are you? Thank you so much for jumping on and joining. And I think it's one of the things, like I said, right? Like on the journey, what we're told that we should do. And I've actually, had a very reputable coach in the market. And I'll share the story. So the story kind of went like this. Saw a coaching program that I wanted to invest in. And we got on a call. She offered a discovery call, got on a discovery call. And then, of course, she's just like, well, what does your revenue look like? Because you have to be able to afford the course, right? And we're going down, and she's asking all of the right questions, okay? What does your business look like? What products do you have to offer? How much money do you make a month? All of this stuff, right? And then one of the things she said to me is just like, oh my gosh, this is the easiest way and the quickest way for you to make some money. You need to decide what are the things that you're going to do, how much you're going to charge for those things. And then you're going to make a list of 20 people, and then you're going to call those 20 people. And then your goal is to get however number, it takes times, the monthly that you're charging. Okay. And to take care of your monthly expenses. Okay. And that's what I did. And I did that for some time. And when I tell you, one of the quickest and the easiest ways to burnout, especially if you are not thinking about building a team. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward. I see Audrey says, yes, that's me, right? And so I'm going to fast forward. So the next phase that I went into, right? So I'm continuing on this journey, and I was just like, yeah, that's great, but no, really not, right? So what else am I going to do? So I started to take a look at programs, right? So how many of you out there are coaches and consultants, and then you have a program? So you heard that one of the best things for you to do inside of your business, right, is to offer a program. And let me just say this. And I've shared this story numerous times. So I remember the first time I launched a program. And I absolutely love programs. Let me just say this, right? So I'm going to tell you my journey of launching my very first program. So when I launched my first program, oh my gosh, it was horrible. Let me just say that, right? I could laugh about it now. I could smile about it now, but back then it was no laughing or no joking matter. right? And so I spent so much time developing this idea and going into, my creative space, and said, you know what, this is what I see, out there in the marketplace, and this is what I think that entrepreneurs want and need. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to develop this program. And it was a 4-week program, y'all. And let me tell you, total flop. Okay. Total flop. And why was the program a total flop? The program was a total flop is because I did not do any market research before I launched the program. Okay. And I'm going to share with you what I mean by market research. So I launched the program. And when I tell you, I don't think we made it 4 weeks program. I don't think we made it past the second week. Okay. By the second week, I totally stressed everybody out inside of the program. Okay. And can you say information overload? Okay. And we're going to really talk about this today, information overload. And so what I did in the first program that I launched, I tried to take all of my knowledge, everything that I knew, everything that I learned, and I tried to pack it into 4 weeks. Have any of you ever done that before? And then, I'm there and I'm all excited and I'm thinking that this is great because you know what? They're really going to be able to move the needle and shift some things in their business. And by the second week, I could see the glazed over look, like I totally lost the attendees in the program. And then let me just say this. I was so in my feelings about this program. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they make it look so easy. So how many of you, have seen people talk about launching programs and the success that they have around launching programs? And then you're like, yes, that's gonna be me. Okay. And then you enter into that realm, and then you're just like, oh, it's not as easy as they make it look, right? And so, being totally transparent, it took me a year. So I sat in my feelings for an entire year before I decided to go ahead and revamp the program. Right. And so I revamped it and I kept revising and I kept revising. And with each revision, each reiteration, it just, it got better. Right. So I started to feel a whole lot better, about about launching programs. So Forrest is out there saying they're caught in the headlight look. Yes. Oh, Forrest, let me tell you something. Being a trainer, I get so excited about the things that I love in my business and the things that I like to do, especially when it comes to technology. As you could see, starting out the call this morning, I'm geeking over a new app that I found, right? And one of the things that I always have to pay attention to is to make sure that I don't lose people, because I get excited about this stuff. And then, sometimes it's like, Taria, you're the only person who's excited about that stuff, right? So I always have to keep that in mind. And so Anila is saying, despite our excitement, we need to take into consideration the attendees of our program. Yeah, Anila. So it's one of the things that I had to learn, is to be able to, like you said, do market research, right? So how are you testing, your audience, right? Or how are you testing your existing client base before you develop products and services? And it's one of the things that I find a lot of times as, entrepreneurs, especially new entrepreneurs, we don't do. Right? So we get excited and we have an idea and we want to bring our idea to the marketplace. And then you're like, yes. Okay. But have you really tested it? Have you really checked the temperature of your audience? Have you gone back, tested it on clients, do surveys, do all of that market research to really find out, is this something truly, what your audience wants? Okay. And I see that Dee has jumped in and joined us this morning. Great morning, Dee. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I tried. I'm doing new things in 2021, Dee. So thank you for the compliment on the hair. Okay. And so, once again, since launching the program, like I said, it evolved, right? And it just, I learned a lot on the journey. And so, one of the things, like I did promise that we're going to talk about, is one of the biggest mistakes new coaches and consultants make. And that's it exactly. Having an idea and you're excited and you're passionate about your idea, and you said, oh, you know what? I'm gonna bring this idea forth into the marketplace, and they haven't really tested the idea. They haven't really done any market research around the idea, so they really don't know, if it's what in fact that people want. Okay, so how many of you could identify with that? Okay, like, oh, you put something out there into the marketplace, you're excited about it, but it might not be, to the point where your audience wants it as yet. Okay, and so that's one of the biggest mistakes. And then and the reason why I'm talking about this is because I find myself in these conversations around automation. So I'm going to have another really transparent moment around automation, and I'm going to have a transparent moment around like running things like ads, to your business. Okay, so I see it all the time, and don't get me wrong, because I say this, automation is absolutely wonderful, right? And we all should, be looking at our businesses and looking at, areas of our businesses that we can automate. Okay, but I'm of the mindset of that there should, something should be happening before you automate. So having an idea for a program, and you haven't taken anybody through your program, and someone said it's a great idea for you to go ahead and record this and put it in a LMS system and then run ads to it and everything, and I've seen people do this, okay? And then they're wondering, like, oh my gosh, why isn't the return on investment there? And then the first question I usually like to ask is, how many other people have you taken through, your program before you decided to automate it? Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of times, more times than I would like to hear, the answer is no, I haven't. Okay. And so the question becomes, like, what, then how do you know if it's something that your market wants? And the answer is you really didn't know because you didn't have the opportunity to test it. Okay. And so that's one of the things, right? That like I say, big mistake, right? Not doing enough market research. And then there's easy ways that you could do research on your market. Okay. And so here's one of the things. You have an idea for your products and your program. How many people, have you decide, to work with one-on-one? Okay. And actually take them through getting the result that you desire. You're launching a program. Before you do a big launch, have you set up a beta? Do you have a beta group or beta test? Okay. And I'm just going to say beta testing, is absolutely necessary. Is absolutely necessary. And one of the biggest things, like when people say beta, it doesn't mean like when you're in beta, it doesn't mean that you can't charge, for it. You could definitely charge for your beta program. Okay. You can. Okay, but it's opening up, that product or service to a small segment, of your audience. okay, and take them through it. And then the goal for you, like when you are testing and when you're doing beta, the goal isn't for you, to make thousands of dollars. Okay, the goal is for you to create market research. And like I said, I'm being totally transparent, because one of the things that that I did, right? Because I hear everybody, people talking about this stuff. Oh, you need to have a MDO, right? Or you need to have some type of, like group program. And I really started to get really focus on what it takes to run a group program. Okay. And like I said, I've done the programs before, and one of the things that I didn't like about doing programs, I'm just going to say this, and this is not everybody, this is Taria's world. So I'm sharing with you my experiences. Okay. So one of the things that I realized when I launched my programs, right, I didn't have like the next step laid out and prepared. Okay. And so people will come through a 4 week program. I've done 4 weeks, I've done 6 weeks, and I've done 12 weeks. And one of the feelings that, I used to get is just like, okay, they've completed the program, but I'm not still not seeing like the results for them, like in the marketplace, right? Like what's really going on. And I kind of felt like I was left hanging, and I felt like I left people hanging. Okay. And so I started to say, well, oh, okay, what would be another great step? Okay. To keep people continued on the journey. And so I started to do a group program. And then I said, you know what? This is going to be a continuous group program. And I'm just going to say this, looking at, because we're in the third year now doing it, looking back from the first year, I'm just going to tell you, the first year was just total market research. So I looked at the 10 people that I had, inside of this program, and I got the opportunity to really understand what their challenges were, things that they faced, how can I support through other products and services, and really learned. By the time we got into the second year, it had more structure. It's just like, oh, great, this is what I want to, provide. And now we're in, to the third year, and it's like, oh my gosh, so much clarity. Okay. And, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I have this wonderful opportunity, and it's a thing that, I love to do the most in my business, right? And I haven't marketed outward, right? And that's because I was patient enough to wait, to go through, to do the market research, to do the testing. So now when I'm ready to outwardly position and market, I know the pain points. Okay. I know what the struggles are, and I'm very clear on the transformation that the attendees are going to get. So I want everyone to get that. Okay. And so I see that Nisi has um popped in, and Nisi says, no, you don't need a group program. So Nisi, go ahead and share a little bit more into your in the comments. Okay, explain that a little bit more. Taria's world, have it laid out and prepared. So I don't know who said that. Oh, I think that's D Wilkins. Okay, so I'm looking at two screens, D, and I think I see your name on the cell phone, but it doesn't show up in StreamYard. Okay, but yeah, so Nisi, you brought up a very interesting point, and we're talking about how to get clarity around your products and services. Okay, and so Nisi's out there saying that you don't need to have a group program. So Nisi, one of the things too that I find is a lot of times, entrepreneurs on the journey, they haven't really gotten clear on which model that they're going to run in their business. Okay. And so I've done it and I've seen it, right? Like there are all these things that we can be doing out there in our business. And then what we're trying to do is we're trying to execute and 4, 5, 6 models at the same time. Okay. Anybody else can identify with that. Okay. So you got a speaker model, you got a webinar model, you got a digital program model, you got a conference model, and you got everything. When I tell you everything in a coaching model, you got everything running at the same time, and you're trying to implement all of these things. Okay, so how many of you could identify with that? And one of the things that I also had to learn and also had to get clear on is, develop one model at a time, do one thing at a time, and get it to the point where it is up, it is running. Okay, and only after that, then you go ahead and then you start to build in another model. I think I really got clarity around that reading the book The One Thing by Gary Keller, right? And Gary Keller, I think he is the founder of Keller Williams, the real estate company brokerage. I'm not too sure. I know Sharette is out here. Sharette will probably correct me on that. Okay. But The One Thing. And then also another great book is The 7-Figure Roadmap. Okay. So if you have not read the book, The 7-Figure Roadmap, I'm encouraging everyone, right, to read that, because it is so powerful how the author, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, Josh Nelson, author Josh Nelson, how he talks about, in order for you to get to a 7-figure business, you have to get really clear. And there are things that you have to get clear on. You have to get clear on, number one, the niche that you're going to serve. Right? So who are you going to serve? What's the target market that you're going to be in place? Okay. So getting really clear on your niche. Okay. And then having one lead generation system. Okay. And implementing that lead generation system, having one product or program that you're going to offer. And I'm probably saying this out of order. One product or program that you're going to offer. And then also one distribution channel. Okay. So how are you going to distribute your products and your services into the marketplace? And then you spend an entire year, okay, working on that. And it's one of the things that I gave myself a challenge in my business to do that when I read the book. Okay. And we're going to get into what we're really talking about today. Gave my chance to do that. And it's also the challenge that I issue to my clients as well. Like, focus on the one thing and then spend some time developing these systems. And then once you're clear on your niche market, you're clear on your lead generation system, you're clear on your distribution system, you're giving it time to really grow it, then you'll find the spaces and the places for you to build in automation. Okay. And then once it's up, it's running, then you take a look at adding another model. But please do not try to run 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models all at the same time. It's the making for crazy. And I'm going to tell you, as entrepreneurs, we talk about burnout on the journey. And a lot of times the reason why we are burnt out on the journey is because the model that we're running in our business doesn't match up, to what we envision for our life. And it doesn't match up to what we envision in our business. Okay. And that's one of the things that I had to get clear. Okay. So am I doing things every day that are leaving me feel burnt out, stressed out, tired? Okay. Or am I going to focus my energy on doing the things that bring me joy? And when you focus on the things that bring you joy, then you have a joyful business, and you get up every day going to work with the heart of service, because it's now it's now a joy for you to do. It's a pleasure, for you to do it. Okay. And these are the things that I'm going to challenge each of you to get present around. Okay. So, what are the things like when you take a look at your business? Are you really running that model in your business that matches up, to your vision, that matches up to the lifestyle that you want to live? You cannot be counterintuitive or counterproductive. It just doesn't work. Okay. And I see that Forrest is out there, and Forrest is saying all of the above, right? And so, Forrest, isn't it like great when we really get clarity around what it is we're supposed to be doing? Like, clarity is everything. Okay. And I know I'm probably stepping on some toes, or well, I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but I'm causing some wheels to turn, because I know some people are out there and they're saying, well, oh my gosh, isn't that like leaving money on the table? Right? So, how many of you have heard, like, oh my gosh, you need to focus on the one thing, but if I focus on the one thing, then I'm leaving all of these other opportunities, right? And then opportunities are just slipping through my fingers. Okay. So, how many of you, have ever felt that way? Okay. The business, and Forrest is saying that sometimes he feels that the business is running me and not me running the business. Yeah, it's a real thing, Forrest. It's a real thing, right? And Patricia is out there echoing, saying clarity is everything, right? And truly it is, because yes, sometimes you could feel like, oh my gosh, I need to be over here and I need to do this. And, if I say no, over here, then I'm missing out on this. Okay. But really and truly, once get really clear, and you say, hey, these are the things that I'm going to do, or this is the model that I'm going to run in my business, then you're able, to concentrate, you're able to focus, and then you're really able to build it, right? The way that it needs to be built, and all of your energies, all of your resources aren't dispersed all over the place. Okay. So I'm hoping that lands, for someone. Okay. And so one of the other things that I wanted to touch on is, how does getting this level of clarity allow you to be seen as the expert? Okay. And so here's the really cool thing about it. Okay. A lot of times when we're out there and we're doing 50 million things, right? We feel like we're doing a lot, and people are looking at us like, oh my gosh, you're doing a lot, too much. Right? So can somebody put that into the chat? Right? Too much. Right? And it's all about really getting clear and saying, hey, I'm going to focus on the one problem. So what's the one problem that I'm going to solve in this particular program? Okay, so I had to learn that, right? So instead of having a program and I'm trying to address all the problems that we as entrepreneurs face, right? How about me just getting clear on the one problem that I'm going to solve in this one particular program? Okay, get clear on that. And then what are your steps, okay, that you are going to teach and have others implement that would allow them to have breakthrough and transformation around that particular problem? Break your stuff down into steps. Okay. And whether it's a 6 weeks program, 12 weeks, whatever the length is, be clear on the one problem that you're going to solve, and then the steps, okay, that you're going to take people through, to solve that problem. Okay. And so that's one of the best ways and the easiest ways for you to be seen as the expert. Okay. And people are going to now start to identify you. Oh, she does this, she does that. I took this and this was the result that I got from this. And I see that Nisi is out there, and Nisi is saying that there are levels before you get to that one-on-one group thingy. I have various products and services that you can purchase before you get to the one-on-one group thingy with me. I like she said group thingy. I love it. Okay. This is why I say you don't need a group. Yet I have built numerous Facebook groups averaging 2 to 5,000 members that I can market my products and services to. Okay. And so, yeah, so Nisi, right? And thank you so much for sharing that. And that's the reason why I wanted you to put that right into the comment section and explain. Okay. Because yeah, there are so many different things or so many different models, Nisi, that we could run in our business, right? So there's the digital product model where you could develop digital products, okay, and people could just buy digital products. And then guess what? And it doesn't have to be digital products. It could be any other products. I'm just saying digital because that's the space that I'm in, but it could be products. And then when you sit and you take a look at it, like, oh, what's your marketing strategy that you're going to use to get these products out here? What's your distribution channel that you're going to use to do X, Y, Z, right? And if that's your model, right, build out your model and say, oh, okay. And then when you implement like your one-on-one, then you have your model for your one-on-one. And if you choose to go into group coaching, right, then you have your model for your group coaching. Like I said, what I've seen, oftentimes is that, there are all these different models and there's all these different ways, for us to do stuff. And then what we're trying to do is implement everything at the same time. And it doesn't necessarily work. Okay. And so, yeah, there are different ways, okay, that we can grow on the journey as entrepreneurs. And that's what I'm saying. Clarity is key, right? So knowing which model works best, for you, and the one that lines up with your ideal lifestyle. Okay. And so Forrest is saying that I need the steps. Forrest is saying I started with workshops, but the keynote seems to be what keeps paying. Okay. So the question becomes for you, Forrest, and this is a really good thing for me to ask you. Okay. So number one, how are you really doing in this space now that everything have changed over into the virtual world? Are you getting as much keynote opportunities and speaking opportunities as you had before? And if are you actively looking for opportunities, or are you creating your own opportunities? Okay. And then also, like you said, you started with workshops, right? And you transitioned from workshops into keynotes. So did you do away with your workshop model in your business and you're strictly keynoting now? Or do you have a hybrid of both where you do keynotes and then you also offer workshops as well? Okay. So it'll be really good for you to drop that into the comment section for us and then let me know as well. And I see that Barbara has jumped out and joined us this morning. Great morning, Barbara. Thank you so much for jumping on and join me. Okay. And then Forrest is saying people hunted me. I didn't advertise. And isn't that wonderful, Forrest, when your reputation precedes you? Right. And you actually have a model in your business where people come through, they see value, they receive transformation, they know that you are known for what you do, and then people are able to make referrals, to you, to others. Okay. And so therefore you are cutting down on your marketing dollars from the advertising standpoint. So that's awesome. 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 So yeah, so let me know, has anything shifted for you? Yeah, and Forrest is saying, yep, and they paid me well. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it. Yeah. So has anything shifted for you in this time of COVID? Or, is business for you still flourishing and business still booming? So I love it. Okay. All right. So let me just make sure that I am not missing any more questions. And I see that Anila is saying clarity is key. Yes, Anila, definitely it is. Okay. I'm too burnt out to worry. I need to step back and refocus. Yeah, so Forrest, it's one of those things that I think as entrepreneurs, right? We always have to have a system of checks and balances. And I know, like I have the system of checks and balances because things change, right? We're consistently growing. There's consistently new opportunities, and one of the things that I've learned to pay attention to is when I do feel that burnout, or I do feel that, there's always that kind of feeling, like I call it too much, right? It's always the opportunity for me to step back and reevaluate. Okay, so you know what am I doing? Is it working or is it not working? Okay, is this truly what I want to do? That's always the big question, and I think a lot of times we get scared to ask ourselves that question, right? This is really what I want to do, and get present to it. And then if the answer is no, then okay, then what are you going to shift, right? So you could do something different. And then if the answer is yes, this is what I really want to do, then how can you make it better? Right? So is that shift, that checks and balances. And then, like I said, oftentimes when I do the checks and balances for myself, what I found is that I'm doing too much. Okay, so there's still a way, a happy, harmonious balance for me to achieve the things that I want to achieve, and I don't have to stress myself out, doing them. When I find that, there's that rub, I always have to go back and I always have to evaluate, how am I doing things? Okay, is there a better way, to do this? Okay, and it says, and Audrey says, I'm trying to do too much. I need to focus and have clarity. Yes, Audrey, I think it's one of the biggest things and one of the best things, okay, that we all can do, like on this journey, is just taking the time, to get clear, crystal clear, okay, on one of the things that we're supposed to be doing. And this is why I started off saying what I said, because a lot of times we're seeking clarity, right? And we're seeking clarity sometimes solely in our head. Okay, so how many of you could identify with that? Okay, that you're seeking clarity, but you're in your head about clarity. And what you're not doing is you're not leveraging, all of, the human resources around you. Okay. So one of the things that I love that Nisi shared with us is part of her model in her business is that she builds, communities, and she has these communities that, what, not only is a great place for her to position products and services, but I guarantee you, Missy is learning so much about her audience. She's learning so much about the people who are in her communities. So when she serves, she knows exactly how she's going to serve. She knows exactly what their needs are, and she's able to create the products and the services, to fit them. Okay. And so that's one of the things, Audrey, go back, to past, conversations with clients, right? What is it that they really need? Okay. And then let them tell you, and then you develop your solution to fit their needs. Okay. A lot of times we're working out of our head and we're trying to figure these things out. Like I said, I had to get present to that. Okay. And I love it, when clients come to me and they say, hey, look, you know what? This is what would really help me. And I was just like, oh my God, here I am going around the mulberry bush, trying to do all these things. And they're telling me clearly, this is what they need. Okay. So great, great, great. Thank you for sharing that, Audrey. And I see that Patricia has a question. She says, how often should you check and balance yourself? Oh, Patricia, that's a very good question. I don't know if I ever have a time frame for that, that's really interesting because I know I check and balance myself. Every time, like I said, I feel the pressure in my head, okay? And I feel my little eyes welling up with tears. That's usually a sign for me to know that something is not right, okay? And so that's my immediate check. Okay, so as I'm going through the journey, if I start to feel and let me just say this, there's a difference between um good stress and bad stress, right? So I think the word is stress, and then there's eustress, and I think eustress is the good stress, right? So there's a stress and a pressure, like when you are working towards something. Is it's like not bad, you don't have like a 2 a.m. problem, right? But there's that energy, and it's like, oh yeah, 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 and keep going. And then there's the other type of stress, like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on, whatever this is, it needs to stop. That's the first indicator to do the checks and balance. Okay. Another way that you could do checks and balances in your business, Patricia, is once again line everything up to your vision. Okay. So as you revisit your vision on a regular basis, okay, take a look at the things that you're doing on a daily basis. And these things that you're doing on a daily basis, right? Is it in alignment with your vision? Okay. And so one of the things, and I'm just going to say, like for me personally, like family for me is everything. Okay. And so I love to have the opportunity to spend time with my family. Right. And so what I try my best to do is always do that checks and balance and say, hey, are these things going to take me away from my family? And if it does, is it going to take me away from my family for an extended period of time? And is that what I envision for my life? And when I do that checks and balances, Patricia, then I find myself looking at opportunities and being able to say, it sounds great. It may be an opportunity for somebody else, but it's not the opportunity for me because it's not in alignment with what I envision for myself, right? Or what I envision for my business. I hope that makes sense for you. So that's another way that you could do the checks and balances, right? So as you set your goals, are you just out there arbitrarily setting goals because these are the cool goals to set? Like, how many people know that they're cool goals that you should have in your business, right? Like everybody sets them. Right? So are you out there just setting these arbitrary goals, or are your goals like really in alignment with your vision? And then do you go back and you do that check and say, oh, okay, no, this doesn't line up to where I want to go, or this is in alignment, or if I do this, then this is going to take me, off of this course, and then I'm going to be out here. And then usually when you find yourself out here, that's when you start to get that rub, right? And it's just like, oh, this is not what I should be doing or what I need to be doing. And then you're able to come back. Okay, so Patricia says, great answer, thank you. And Anila is saying, I love that, being in alignment and check your actions daily. Yeah, Anila, it's such a powerful thing, right? Because I know a lot of times we, especially as entrepreneurs, we have a tendency, to be in that busy mode, go, 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 do, 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 right? And we're not really getting present to the things that we're doing, the activity that we have. Is it really, the activity, right, that's making the difference? Are we just being busy, or are we being productive? Okay, so Patricia is saying being in alignment based on my vision, and go back and check. Great share. Thanks, Taria. You're welcome, my dear. Okay. And so any last minute questions before we get ready to wrap up this episode, and I see that Forrest is out there saying be present. Yes, Forrest, you do have to be present in every single moment. Okay. And so if you have any final last minute questions or comments, please make sure to drop them inside of the group. And I'm just going to share with you. Thank you guys. I had to have this conversation today because it's one of the things that, came up a few times, for me during the week in talking with other entrepreneurs and how to get really clear. And even myself, right? As I take a look at the things that I'm doing in 2021, I'm really excited about opportunities that are in front of me, right? Like I have to get clear as well. So I said, you know what? This is always a great conversation to have with my superstars. Okay. And Audrey is saying, this pandemic has allowed me to slow down and focus on my goals. And I think, Audrey, that's what it has done for the majority of us, right? Give us the opportunity to kind of refocus, and take a look at what truly matters. I think that's the biggest thing, right? What truly matters. And then how are you going to live your life each and every single day, like on purpose? Okay. And Forrest says, thank you for taking the time. Oh, we love you. Oh, I love you too, Forrest. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay. And so a couple of last minute things. If this is your first time tuning in to Social Media Saturdays, I am your host, Taria Hodge. I realized that I did not introduce myself, right? So I am your host, Taria Hodge. And what I do is that I have stepped from behind the scenes to help coaches, consultants, and thought leaders show up and shine by getting their authentic and vulnerable message into the marketplace. Okay. And so you can continue to connect with us. I've actually changed the name of the group, guys. So the group is no longer Social Media Saturdays. The name of the group is Serve, Share, Shine, the Givers Community. So Anila, if you are still on with me, honey, can you just please put that into the comment section? Okay. So the new name of our community is Serve, Share, Shine, the Givers Community. And the reason why I changed the name of the group is, like I said, up to some pretty big things in 2021. And I just want to give the group a little bit more focus. I want it to be a community where, as entrepreneurs and thought leaders, we could come in and we're actually leading with a heart of service inside of the community. Okay. And so I've been taking a look at a few things that's going on with communities. Some of them I think are awesome. Others I don't like too much. And so my question has become, what am I going to do, to make my community different and to make it stand out, right? Or not even my community, because it's our community, to make our community stand out and make it different. So you guys, over the next upcoming weeks, you will be hearing a little bit more about the changes that I am making within the community that would allow us to benefit from it all. Okay. And then also, just letting you know that the Magnetize and Monetize, the virtual stage webinar. And that's a webinar hosted by none other than Susan Hart and myself. We have made a commitment to host the webinar twice a month. Okay, so we host the webinar the first Thursday of every month and the third Saturday of every month. So coming up April 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Magnetize and Monetize, the virtual stage webinar. And then this is for you. If you are out there and you have questions or you want to know how to craft a story that inspires, influences, and has massive impact, okay? And I think we all, have had the opportunity to take a look at that more in depth and detail over the past year, since a lot of things have changed for a lot of us. So how do we develop that story that makes us magnetic into the marketplace, that we are attracting our ideal client? Okay. And so we're sharing the secrets, right, of being camera ready and turning your story into a new stream of revenue. And I'm actually looking for my link because I do have the link. I believe that I could drop it right here. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the link on the screen, and then I'll go ahead and come back and put the link into the comment section after the broadcast. Okay, and then the last thing before I wrap it up, I do have the opportunity, to speak today at the at the Black Women's Confidential online event, virtual event hosted by none other than E.R. Spalding, the founder of Black Woman Startup. Okay, so for those of you who would also like to catch the master classes today and tomorrow for Black Woman Confidential, I'm going to drop the link into our community as well. Okay, so if you would like to join me there this afternoon, again, you sure can. Okay, all right. And so if you're not a member of a community, make sure you head on over to our community, knock on the door, and I'll let you in. Once again, it's Serve, Share, Shine, the Givers Community. You could also follow me on Instagram. I'm also found on, where am I? On YouTube, and then also on Twitter at Watch SMS Live as well. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another amazing episode of Social Media Saturdays, and take care until next time. Bye-bye.